To everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven. Join me as we dive into the history behind some of the most beloved songs for every season. Seasons of celebration, of gratitude, of anticipation, and more. In each episode, I'll explain the history of a well-known song and then perform some of it for you.
You might have heard a version of this song with marching ants, meant to entertain children. The original was far from a children's song, centered around marching soldiers instead of insects. When Johnny Comes Marching Home is a popular American song from the Civil War era, deeply rooted in the country's history and culture. Its origins trace back to 1863, during a period of immense strife and division in the United States. The song is credited to Patrick Gilmore, who published it under the pseudonym Louis Lambert. Gilmore was a well-known bandmaster and composer of the time, and his creation quickly became an anthem of hope and reunion for a nation torn apart by war. Before the war, Gilmore had led a variety of bands in the Boston area, including one that bore his name, Patrick Gilmore's Band. The whole band enlisted together when the war started and were attached to the 24th Infantry Division in Massachusetts. In addition to playing, they worked as stretcher bearers in intense battles like Bull Run, Antietam, and Gettysburg. In 1863, he was the Grand Master of the Union Army and was living in the occupied city of New Orleans, Louisiana. During this time, he ordered the state military bands to reorganize, and during this time he wrote, "When Johnny Comes Marching Home." The melody of "When Johnny Comes Marching Home" is believed to have been inspired by older musical themes, potentially drawing from Irish folk music, which Gilmore would have been familiar with, given his Irish heritage. There is a specific Irish anti-war protest song called "Johnny, I Hardly Knew Ye." One look at the lyrics makes it even more likely that there was at least some inspiration from it. Gilmore claimed that he also drew inspiration from an African-American spiritual. The song's lyrics express the longing for the return of soldiers to their homes and families, capturing the collective yearning for the end of the war and the restoration of peace. He dedicated it to the Army and Navy of the Union. Its message appealed to those on both sides of the conflict, and it was sung by families on both sides of the Mason-Dixon line, hoping that their fathers and sons would return home safely. Its catchy and uplifting tune helped it gain widespread popularity, becoming a staple of military bands and civilian music groups alike. Unlike many war songs that focus on the glory and heroics of battle, When Johnny Comes Marching Home emphasizes the joy of return and the end of conflict. This focus on reunion and peace resonated deeply with the American public, both North and South, making it a timeless piece of the country's musical heritage. After the Civil War, the song remained a part of America's cultural fabric, being played at various patriotic events and military homecomings. Its message of hope and celebration of peace continues to make it relevant, especially during times of conflict or when honoring veterans and service members. Gilmore continued to organize extravagant musical events for the rest of his days, but this song was his most enduring legacy. Though it originated in the Civil War, it has become a part of almost every U.S. conflict since.
When Johnny comes marching home again, hurrah, hurrah. When Johnny comes marching home again, hurrah, hurrah. The men will cheer and the boys will shout, the ladies they will all turn out, and we'll all feel glad when Johnny comes marching home. Thank you for listening. May music fill this and every season of your life.